That's why so many people die from their own guns, oftentimes, because people don't know how it operates. Does the bullet come out of the bottom here?
Yeah.
Do I look down the hole of the gun?
Which side goes bang, bang? Which side goes pull, pull?
Click, click. Exactly. Yeah. Pull, the onomatopoeia of pulling.
Find your zen before we begin.
Do I just start talking? Why aren't you goosing me like I goose you when you're the host of the episode? You just start talking about some random shit. And I have to stand here and be placid and wait for you to stop talking.
I'm sorry, you goose me?
I don't know. Why was that my verb choice? Why was that my verb?
Is that our dynamic? Is that our dynamic?
Goosing.
It's still spoopy season. What you got, Damon?
Thank you for asking. This movie we're gonna watch falls squarely in our
Introduce the show, I guess, maybe first.
Oh, right. Hey, welcome to Your Inner Child's an Idiot, the podcast where we look back on things from our childhood and decide if they were any good to begin with. Flawless. I don't think a lot of people will notice that I just started talking.
I'm DJ.
All right, I'm Damon. Hi. There's a two-part to the welcome. Starting it and also introducing yourself.
If anybody sees this on the video, Damon's just casually shrugging during that whole intro. It's great. Anyway, spoopy season, please continue.
It is spoopy season, but luckily the movie I've chosen, while keeping in that framework, is definitely on the spoop rather than spooky side of the spectrum. You and I should be able to handle it without having to jump into Scooby-Doo's arms.
Okay, good.
So we should be good. This is a movie that came out, I think it was released on my birthday one year.
Okay.
And it was that was what I wanted to do, is I wanted to go see this movie with all my friends, my middle school friends, a hint to when it would have been released. Oh, actually, I think it would have, I have to check the year because I haven't checked the year. So I can't.
Fucking mid-90s though.
Yeah, mid to late 90s.
Okay.
And the reason I wanted to see this so bad is that this movie is very retro, and the trailer they released was very much in the announcer type trailer, and it was mimicking disaster movies. This is a parody of disaster movies. And in the trailer, they just listed all the celebrities in it, just one after the other, and it ended with, and Mr. Tom Jones. And I got so tickled by that they would include Tom Jones in this disaster movie. I was really pleased.
Is this Mars Attacks?
It is Mars Attacks.
That's the main thing I don't know about. It's the Martian's voice. Very excited.
I was very excited to see this movie. We went to see this movie, and then at the time, I was disappointed after having seen the movie.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen it more recently, and I warmed up to it again. But at the time, I was disappointed when I saw it, despite its fantastic trailer.
I was too, because I think that the tone of this, or the, I guess, advertised tone of this, didn't match how it came. But it was much it wasn't like it was scary, but it was darker. You know what I mean? Like it was a little bit more, despite everything being ridiculous, it was like serious people in a ridiculous world or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it was
Glenn Close, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
A lot of serious actors in this.
They are very ridiculous, like their characters too. But I remember it didn't kind of hit my funny bone. I'm hoping maybe it will on rewatch, because I don't think I've seen this since.
I don't think it's a jokey movie. I think it's more of, it really plays it kind of straight, but like maybe not straight, but in a very campy straight way. Campy straight. Like in like a 1950s style alien movie.
At one point,
I think that went over my head as a kid.
Yeah. At one point, doesn't the woman get her heads on a dog or something?
That's correct.
Yeah.
But it's not a jokey movie.
Yeah. That's pretty, yeah. I think because of absurd things like that, and you're like, and Tom Jones, and you're like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is he funny? I don't know. Interesting.
He is in that one episode of The Simpsons. He was funny in that, kind of, I guess. They have a lot of control because, he just has to provide his voice, and they can make his body do whatever they want. Don't say it like that.
I feel like I could be funny if the Simpsons writers of that era. Can you imagine?
They just followed this 15-year-old boy around. That's interesting.
This is based on a comic book, right?
I think it's actually based on playing cards, collector's cards you could collect. Don't say collector's cards you could collect. In the 70s,
Okay.
maybe earlier. But they were kind of like the Garbage Pail Kids cards of that era, where they were a little bit dark, kind of like this movie where the aliens were causing mischief and killing people, setting cows on fire and burning up half of Congress in one laser beam.
Yeah.
So I think it was that. That I think is the inspo.
Can we do a guess on the year? Do you have a
oh, for the movie?
Here? Yeah. I'm gonna say 1996.
I'm gonna say 95.
Okay.
Do you have it? You want me to look it up?
You look it up.
I'm gonna look it up now.
And
oh, you win. It is 1996.
I feel like it's never 96. I'm very excited about that.
I was really going for 95 because I felt like it's never an even year. It's always somewhere in there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
Great convo on the on the years sometimes movies come out.
Anybody else want to guess? It's too late. We already know. We're gonna. Do you have any other memories? Who'd you go to Mars Attacks with?
I went with Zach. I went with Joseph.
Not Joe. Joseph.
No, Joseph. Straight up. Our science teacher called him JoJo from Kokomo, which he did not appreciate because he didn't like going by Joe. He certainly didn't like going by JoJo, and his family was Korean. So it seems like just a miss all around. And maybe Michael may have gone with us.
Okay.
I don't think I was hanging out with David anymore at that point.
Oh, were you guys in a fight? What happened to David?
I'll tell you off mic.
Okay.
Wow.
That long later, you done fucked up, David. We're still holding this grudge 30 years later. Okay, well, anyway, we're going to watch Mars Attacks, 1996. Watch along with us. We'll be back in a little bit. You know what I like about our Patreon page, patreon.com/YourInnerChild'sAnIdiot?
What, DJ?
The benefits that the patrons get are out of this world.
Okay. You came to play. What I like is that the movie we're doing deals with aliens. And they are literally out of this world. But there's also a phrase about, being more than you expect being out of this world. That's great. DJ, I love this. I did
not even put that together. I just am really excited about the benefits that our patrons can get at patreon.com/YourInnerChild'sAnIdiot. So
they are launching me into orbit?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks to our Jeff Bezos, our largest supporter. He will give anyone who supports us a free ride into space, survival not included.
Yeah, it's not a round trip. You got to pay for your way back.
You know what I like about this movie? Dan?
Yeah.
I was about to give you the opportunity to gift our listeners with a synopsis, and yet it's in the title. It's done. It's a sentence.
It's kind of like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The components are already in the name of the thing. You already know what you're getting. Mars Attacks. What? Presumably an understood us.
Yeah. You. Mars Attacks.
You, my dear listener, you are being attacked by Mars.
So bad at grammar. Mars Attacks? I don't understand.
Oh, Mars Attacks was good on PBS. Derek Jacobi plays Mars Attacks, the last emperor of Rome.
Oh. You gotta get an Claudius reference in every single episode.
It's my thing. The fans expect it.
Once you say pastiche and you mention Claudius, your check boxes are checked. And
I can go home. You can host the rest of the show by yourself.
Please, will you recap this movie?
Yes, I will. Right now. Picture this. Space. Our nearest neighbor to the north, I was about to say. Mars. We see a fleet of flying saucers flying towards Earth. They're picked up on Earth's
Hubble telescope.
Yes, Hubble telescope, our most accurate of telescopes. And Earth is pretty much concluded that Mars is, since they're such an advanced race, they would be coming in peace. DJ.
Yeah.
They do not come in peace. They
Quite the opposite, I say.
Start shooting us with ray guns, which gives you either your choice of a red or green skeleton.
Christmas time.
Available now.
Yeah.
And they shoot all of Congress. They attack the White House. At one point, they cut the Washington Monument off at the base and throw it on some poor, unsuspecting Cub Scouts, which hit home for me because I was a weebelo. So I know what that's all about. Eventually, America, after several failed attempts of diplomacy, decide to nuke the bastards in space. Doesn't work. They suck it up like a helium balloon and make fun of us. And eventually we find out that the musical stylings, the yodeling, country yodeling of Slim Whitman does something to their brain parts that makes their heads explode. And so we just start blasting Slim Whitman over the airwaves. Now, yes, all of Congress and the executive branch haven't been destroyed, but anyone who's read the Constitution knows that the power succession eventually goes to the first daughter. Yes. Not the first son, oddly enough. So that's why we always make sure that presidents have daughters.
Yeah.
So that they can take the reins if there's a King Ralph or Mars Attacks type situation where
everybody
we just
remembers,
wipe out the entirety of the government.
Everybody remembers 1990s United States government was matriarchal. So it passes through.
Remember when Chelsea Clinton was running things for a while Bill Clinton was in Europe? That's just what happens. And that's that. We start rebuilding. Along the way, Annette Bening gets sober.
Yeah.
So hey, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Jim Brown does reunite with his wife and children.
Yeah, we get a Jim Brown, his character's dead fake out.
And
he was surrounded.
That's Mars Attacks ! If you're in Spain, that would also be upside down ! Mars Attacks !
Thank you for clarifying. So we could spend the whole time, because this cast is enormous, we could spend the whole time on that. So I do want to talk about the cast list. So we will.
I gotta fill this time up somehow.
But I do have something for the Probcorn. I do have
oh, you got a Probcorn? I didn't catch a Probcorn. I'm usually so good at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty mild. I was kind of expecting more from this movie as far as problematic elements.
Oh.
Let's hop in there real quick because it won't
it's
affect
a really shallow Probcorn, rounded edge. There's not a sharp corner. It's just rounded.
Let's get in there. Kick it.
Kick it.
It's kicking it. It's Jackson's kicking it.
When I do that, that's when the downbeat comes on.
Kick it. Okay, so we're here in the problematic corner. This is one joke basically. And you probably now know what I'm talking about.
Is it the first joke of the movie?
No, but they're no. Okay, now I want to know what that is.
The Filipino New Year.
Oh,
I mean, it's pretty low stakes in terms of. I'm like, okay, I guess.
Yeah,
don't be like that.
Yeah,
but they seem to have a repartee, maybe. So
yeah, like their neighbors. Yeah. And there's there's a reporter after it's announced. They're in the press room at the White House, and Martin Short is the press secretary, and he's answering questions. And then actually, I think it's the president at this point. He comes up Jack Nicholson as the president comes up, taking questions. And as a stinger on the end of the thing, a androgynous reporter with a androgynous look with a kind of a deep voice says, "Do the Martians have two sexes like we do?" And then it cuts.
It is a weird joke to end on, because they have. Because Martin Short's like, oh, and here's the president. Because sometimes the president comes in on those, what have you. Sometimes if he's Michael Douglas, he gives an inspiring speech about democracy.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just stands there and takes a question from a non-binary reporter for laughs. But yeah, Jack Nicholson doesn't even say anything. He doesn't answer. He you over there. And then this unidentified person just stands up and asks this question.
I don't have anything to say. It's a shitty joke, and it's one that would... Lauren had a really good point about this and pointed out something. She's like, of all the jokes in this movie, this would have been number like 5,261 on this movie that people would expect to be problematic later. Like, it was so like not on anybody's radar. Right. I'm sure it was on people who are aware of, but like as far as like the general like pop culture zeitgeist, like it was like, yeah, that's, and it wasn't even like, it's not funny.
It's not funny. You brought Jack Nicholson in for this. It feels like a weird stinger for no reason. They could have ended that scene earlier than that, but they did not.
I think everything else that like is problematic in this, you know, you touched on the beginning, is there's like maybe something there. It's all just like nothing goes jokey enough or deep enough to really hit any of those marks, other than that one joke where they went for it and it was a huge miss.
And it falls like an empty tin can.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I got for the popcorn.
Let's get out of here.
All right. Kick it.
Kick it again.
Let him know. He's already dead. Stop kicking him.
I want to talk about something real quick.
Yeah.
Because I noticed this, and I think this might be one of my favorite aspects of this movie. The production design, the set design on this movie is reminding me a lot of Batman and Batman Returns.
Yes.
Which I think we talked about those in those episodes, how Tim Burton seems to deliberately set Gotham City in a time indeterminate.
Yeah.
Like they have modern technology, but all the men and women are wearing hats. When you get outside your house, you wear a hat, damn it. That's just how we do it in Gotham City. And I love that about those two Batman movies. And I love that about this movie as well, in that it's very mid-century kitsch. Part of that inspired by the trading cards that this is based off of that came out in the early 60s. But like even like Pierce Brosnan brings these charts to show to the president, and they're paper charts, and they're like printed out, and they're like in Futura font, and they have that faded element that you usually see in like mid-century scientific, diagrams. I love it.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice because the movie does, I guess, take place in 96, but you wouldn't be able to tell because like all the vehicles, all the guns the military has, it's all like from the 50s.
Right.
Yeah, you know what's funny is you mentioned the trading cards. I don't have much to say about the trading cards. I meant to look more into it, but I didn't find much. And then I thought this was really funny. The screenwriter, I guess Tim Burton he like co-wrote it, but didn't get credited for it. He didn't want the credit. He wanted to give it to this guy, Jonathon Gems. Jonathon Gems. And Jonathon Gems apparently was like done with his draft and then found out there are like stories on the trading cards. Like the Martians
on
have
the
a story.
other side of them.
Yeah, there's like a whole story, and he didn't. I don't know if he like then worked it in. I didn't read any more about it, but it was just like I thought that was really funny. There's like, oh shit.
It's like finding a map on the back of the U.S. Constitution. I just want to give credit. Wynn Thomas is the guy who was the production designer. I just really like the look because it's almost like Tim Burton by way of Wes Anderson. It's very specifically like staged and designed. And I think that's something that you're used to with Tim Burton movies, especially like this era of Tim Burton movies where it's all highly curated. But I just really appreciated that, just leaning into the sort of mid-century space age kitsch of it all.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. What do you think about while we're on the subject? What do you think about the rendering of the Martians themselves?
I was a little I like the spaceships. I think the spaceships look really good for 1996. I also don't want to pick on the Martians too much because again, it's 1996 and it's CG in 1996. They look pretty good. You can tell that they're not there. They sometimes look like they've been washed out, like you sometimes get with blue screen or superimposed characters. But I like their design, which also pretty much comes straight from the trading cards, which is like this huge exposed brain, these dangly bits off their cheekbones, these eyes that are just bug eyes the entire time, and then these very kitschy spacesuits, these blue sort of really bubbly spacesuits with little accordion legs. I like their design. I don't know if I like the computer animation so much. And I was reading about in production, Tim Burton wanted them to be stop motion. And there is part of me that's like, I want that, please. I want that to be I want to see at least what that could have looked like.
Yeah, and apparently there was like already like over budget and they
Mhm.
hadn't even filmed half of it, which makes sense from what I know of stop motion. But uh I don't know because they were, they're supposed to be kind of otherworldly, and I think stop motion would have had a similar effect where it's like this obviously doesn't belong here, even though it's more practical because it's a real thing standing there, as opposed
Mhm.
to CG. But yeah, the design wise is really, I think it's really great. They've got it's very skeletal, their eyes are bugging because they don't have like eyelids or,
They don't have
anything surrounding
lips
it.
either.
They don't have lips. And so they're just always in that grimace. And I also like that when we see the Martians on the spaceship, when they're out of their spacesuits, they're just like skinny little white dudes. Like they're
In
just
red skivvies, just tiny little briefs, just
just
walking
running
around with each
around.
other. Even the Martian ambassador and commander all in like tiny little underwear. Yeah, but it's not just. I mean, I just saw on my notes these surgical uniforms is my note, which is like when
Oh yeah.
Pierce Brosnan is dissecting a Martian at one point. They are wearing these white robes and then these huge like oblong domes around their heads. It's such a deranged outfit. I'm like, this wasn't a standard outfit at any point
Yeah.
in American history, Eisenhower era or otherwise. It's such a delightfully designed movie.
Yeah, it's really fun. There all that kind of thing where you mentioned the red and green when they zap people. Most of
Mhm.
the time they do have a couple of other rays. Like there's a
Shrinking
shrinking
rays, yeah.
ray, and then I think there's one other that I'm thinking of, but they mostly just shoot someone and it hits them and then evaporates their whole body, but they turn to skeletons.
Yeah.
And they're either red or green. Apparently Tim Burton did say it was like, well, it's coming out in Christmas. So
I did look a little bit into the cards. The cards are pretty dark, and the idea that they came out in 1961 and 1962 is insane to me.
mm,
Because they are, there's one where the Martians invade like a wet t-shirt contest and are like pouring blood on one of the
oh,
contestants. There's another one where they're doing surgery on a guy and just ripping his heart out while
mm,
his girlfriend watches from a cage behind them. They're pretty dark. I mean, they're supposed to be like, I mean, they're aimed at teenage boys, so
yeah.
they're supposed to be funny dark, but I think the movie succeeds a little bit at like injecting a little bit more comedy into it than just grotesquerie. Although I am delighted by the just freewheeling death in this movie.
Yes. Yeah, apparently there was a lot they had filmed a lot of similarly dark things and they ended up cutting most of it
Mhm.
because it was like, okay, this is they leaned more into the silly, even though it's still very dark in terms of characters die. Like most of the characters, this humongous cast, I think they said like 7 of the named characters survive or something like that. Like
Yeah, I mean most of the cast exists to be killed.
which is fun. It's actually kind of more fun with to have star-studded cast be cannon fodder for the most part.
I mean this sounds like an apocryphal story, but I saw this where they told Tim Burton, the execs told Tim Burton, you cannot kill Jack Nicholson's character. And Tim Burton has said in interviews, so I gave him 2 roles and killed him both times.
I'll kill him twice. What do you Lauren asked me that too, and I was like, I told her that anecdote because I had read that same thing. But what is it? Why do we have Jack Nicholson playing 2
I
characters in
don't
it?
know why he's in here twice. All I could find was that he really loved working with Tim Burton. So what I found was that originally cast was Warren Beatty as the president.
Right.
And I think Jack Nicholson signed on because he loved working with Tim Burton on Batman. He signed on, according to what I found. He didn't even read the script. He was like, yeah, I'll do that. Um, so I don't know if he was signed on to play this casino magnate. And then when Warren Beatty dropped out, and then apparently Paul Newman was attached for a bit, but was turned off by the violence.
Yeah.
And they decided, okay, we'll just have Jack Nicholson again in the movie. But I remember watching it the first time and waiting for some sort of reveal that the president is also a casino
Yeah.
magnate. But I
Or had
think
a
it was just a
brother or
chance
something.
to have, yeah, it was just a chance to have Jack Nicholson do 2 different characters. Although I do really like him as as Artland, the casino real estate developer. He does a really, I mean, Jack Nicholson is one of those actors who, especially at this time, was so iconic that he really didn't have to play a character anymore. And seeing him like go into a character like Artland, sort of do a voice,
Yeah. It's
and
pretty fun.
you gave up pork, huh? It is fun to see him sort of dive into a role at this stage in his career.
And maybe it's, in retrospect, it was kind of distracting though for me because it was like, what, why? Because especially when you have this humongous cast and he's arguably the biggest star, or one of them in it, and
but only
he's
one
in it
person doubles up.
Yeah, but it's not like Eddie Murphy where it's like, oh, this is a Jack Nicholson vehicle where he's going to do all his silly characters. I'm like, that's not really a Jack Nicholson thing. So it's like, what are we?
It's not Angels in America where you just have a small cast playing multiple roles, Tim Burton. Pick which lane you're going to get into.
I think it's a pretty small quibble because it's like, it's silly and kind of doesn't matter, but it did make me go like, why are we doing this again? It seemed like there was a story.
Guy? Yeah.
Yeah. We have, well, do you have anything else to say about Jack Nicholson while we're on him?
He had this weird trick. He was the more I watched him as the president, the more I loved him because he was so weird as the president. He's very paternal. So there's a scene where after the Martians initially touch down on Earth and kill hundreds of people, the Americans decide it was probably just a misunderstanding. You know how Americans are really forgiving of foreigners. Yeah. They just assumed the error is on us, as we usually do.
Our bad. Yeah.
That's on us. Sorry, Martians. And they decide to send out a message translated into Martian acts that they can try and regain diplomacy or whatever. And he sits down, says nothing, and just sort of like puts his hand on Pierce Brosnan's shoulder, who's running the translator, and just like silently nods to him in a way that I found so deranged. I just chuckled to myself because it's so weird. And then when he's giving, I think he's giving an address, and he says again. He deliberately says words in a very specific manner that I found comical in this comedy.
Yeah, I do really like when he's doing his official speeches. Like he changes because it's not like, he's not playing the kind of character where he's this like dastardly villain behind the scenes and then he turns it on. He's just kind of like a little bit of a doofus. Yeah, he's a doofus. But he's also not a, sweet doofus. He's just kind of a dingbat. And then he turns on his like official voice and his official, and it's very like, like you said, paternal. It's very like condescending kind of, but in a very like he's very much trying to be FDR or something. And I just found it really funny because by the time this airs, we're recording this in the past. Our Lord and Savior JD Vance. It reminded me a lot of the way that he interacts with like the awkwardness.
How long? I'm JD Vance. I'm running for president. Okay. How long have you been working here? Okay. And how long have you been working here? You don't have anything to say. I saw someone say, the first person he asked, not to get off on a tangent, but the first person he asked, they're like, I've been working here for 2 months. He's like, okay. And then he turns to the next guy and he's like, I've been working here for 2 years. And he also says, okay. And he's like, what answer were you expecting that was going to trigger a conversation? Here's a person who's worked here for years. Here's a person who just started. You have no follow-up questions to either of them? What if another person walked in and is like, I have been working here for 25 years. What do you got to say to that?
We might have to cut. Editor, please cut this because this is going to be super irrelevant by the time we get there, but I just have to say it. Also, they asked the question, they're like, how long has this place been open? They're like, 23 months. Like, not like a traditional, like a place that's been around for a long time. That's like a staple of the community. It's like, sir, this is a Wendy's. That's very much the way.
I don't want to be on camera. Okay, she doesn't, just cut her out. Like, cut her out in post? Like, what do you replace her with a Bratz doll? I hate everyone.
Also,
but him particularly.
Does anyone work for you? Didn't they come like vet this place?
I mean, do what I do and just sit in the bathroom talking to yourself and being like, and here's a joke I could do after they say something. I can say, oh, you got time to clean, you got time to clean. You know what I mean?
Normal human behavior. That's what we're going for.
You went to Yale and you also grew up around working class people. You keep telling us and you still can't manage this?
So Glenn Close plays the First Lady.
Channeling Nancy Reagan on crack.
And mentioning Nancy Reagan, like she's jealous of Nancy Reagan. And then
the Nancy Reagan chandelier.
Very, obsessed with like the look. I did like the bit where they're taking a photo of her, and there's like is it her assistant or like what this
Like the decorator, because she's redecorating
and
the
she
White
just
House.
like slightly shoves him out of the picture.
And she knows exactly, like, she gets her hands in like this sort of Jackie Onassis like clasp for a photo, and she puts one foot in front of the other to like just immediately knows how to hit her mark, and then just gently pushes the Monsignor from Sister Act out of the picture. I mentioned Nancy Reagan because of course Nancy Reagan was also criticized for redecorating at the taxpayers' expense the White House. So a little first lady drama. And then of course Natalie Portman plays Jackie Onassis in the movie Jackie.
Oh yeah.
It's fun to connect movies.
Joseph Marr is the name of that actor, by the way.
And thank you.
Yeah, we've got now Nat Ports playing the first daughter. This is
Chasing Liberty, the prequel.
Just a few years before we would get blessed with Queen Amidala.
Yes. Then Senator Amidala, and then dead Amidala. She died of a broken heart. Feminism.
Yeah. Feminism. She is channeling her best. Lauren said she's channeling her best Lydia Dietz.
Yeah, she's definitely trying to pull a Winona on us.
Yeah, it's good. I think I like that character. I think she's pretty. And then she's kind of like a proponent of, maybe it was a misunderstanding when they release a dove. When they welcome the Martians kill everyone, or like kill a bunch of people there. They're like, oh, maybe it's a misunderstanding. But then later they're invited to speak in front of Congress, and they kill all of Congress, the Martians. And she says, maybe it wasn't the dove.
She's open to new ideas, is what I'm trying to say. She's going to be a great leader. Yeah, I liked her. She's very Gen X. I was trying to, because she's one of our survivors, so I want to put a pin in her, because I'd like to return to all of our survivors. Don't put a pin in her.
Calm down.
But like to return to our survivors at the end of this discussion.
Okay.
We got Jim. Let's talk about Jim Brown, because you texted me. You texted at me my thoughts when I was watching Jim Brown back at me. We were mirrors unto each other.
Yeah. So this is a silly movie. We'll play full of people that are chewing scenery all over the place. It's very broad comedy, and yet still Jim Brown sticks out like a sore thumb. Whew. I love sport. I'm a fan.
We all love sport. Now, I only know Jim Brown from this movie and a one-off joke in The Simpsons where Homer skips church and he stumbles upon a football game, interrupts a boring political roundtable show that he was watching. And it's like they portray it, the writers portray it as the greatest football game of all time, up to and including the return of Jim Brown to playing football in that game. So I assume he's a big deal in footing ball?
Yes, he's like played for the Browns. No relation.
He played for his father's team. What a big fucking surprise.
Yeah, I think he's in the. Let me look. I think he's in the Hall of Fame because he was a big deal. I don't know. Ring of Honor, Cleveland Browns Ring of Honor.
Oh, Lord of the Rings Ring of Honor. Yeah, that's a good show. Yeah, but pacing issues, but otherwise fine.
Yeah, he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, right? Yeah. Class of 71. He also apparently did he was involved with the civil rights movement, a civil rights activist. I don't think he was in a ton of stuff as an actor. But I saw he claimed this as his favorite movie he's done. I was like, what the fuck other movies have you done? I can tell you.
Thank you.
He was in The Dirty Dozen.
Okay.
That's a big one. I never saw that.
I didn't see the first 11, so I never watched The Dirty Dozen.
He was in The Split. He was in Riot. These are movies in the 60s.
Okay.
100 Rifles.
All right. Didn't see the first 99, so I wasn't going to watch that.
Starring Raquel Welch and Burt Reynolds, apparently. I'm just reading his Wikipedia page.
Thank you.
What else? What else we got here?
Is he in like a Towering Inferno or one of those disaster-ish movies? Earthquake, exclamation point.
Oh, he was in Any Given Sunday. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, bringing his football new edge to the pitch, to the footing pitch.
Oh, that's where I've seen him. He was in Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
And you probably know him from the cameo in the spoof I'm Gonna Get You Sucker from 1988.
No. But I've heard that is... Wait, which one's that one? I was thinking of Black Dynamite.
I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
Is that Eddie Griffin?
Directed it by and starring Keenan Ivory Wayans.
I think I vaguely remember that one.
I'm sure I've...
This is all great tape.
Yeah.
Keep it.
I haven't seen
And
that one,
keep it and the JD Vance stuff. I'm vetoing DJ's statement from earlier.
You wanted to talk just about how bad he is?
Yeah, he's terrible. I mean, the fact that we have this is a ridiculously stacked cast, to the point, as I talked in the intro, that it was a joke in the trailers about how stacked the cast was. And I appreciate that he's here. But the problem is he's the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I realized at the end, like, the one sort of like, played straight sort of note at the end is Jim Brown reuniting with his ex-wife and his kids, Ray J being one of those kids who brought us Kim Kardashian in a way. Ooh.
He brought Kim Kardashian somewhere, you know what I mean?
To climax, presumably. Actually, I don't know the woman. I haven't talked to her about it.
I haven't seen the whole thing. I never made it through the whole thing. Yeah, and we don't see their reunion. We just see him like coming back, but we thought he was dead because we left him on the tarmac, surrounded by Martians on the ground.
Them dragging his body away. I think. Do we see that, or was he just suddenly gone?
They were like piled up on top of him. He'd gotten in a fist fight with a bunch of Martians. They ganged up on him, and then we see like a crowd of them, and then we see them like pull off of him because he's unconscious, like laying on the ground. So it's like
respectful aliens, just like we've been seeing them be respectful of people's bodies and autonomy. They just like, oh, he's down, let him go. I do like ack, back off.
It does seem like they're very Gremlin-esque, and they are able to be goaded, because he basically goads them into a fist fight.
He does,
and he kills a couple of them, and then they're like, well, wait a second, there's a bunch of us, we'll just gang up on him.
I'm glad you brought up Brent Gremlins, because the last third of this movie is very Gremlins-like. They become sort of ne'er-do-wells more than like an actual invading force. They're just like, you see a guy drive by on a motorcycle and he's got like one just like hanging on his back.
Yeah.
And at one point they're watching like Godzilla in the spaceship. They don't even seem to be really giving their whole heart to this invasion of Earth. So I thought of Gremlins just in that last act.
Yeah, there's a lot more hijinks as they sort of get more and more.
Once they're on the ground, men on the ground more than in spaceships.
Yeah, I think it's, they become overconfident because they're kicking our ass.
Haughty,
so
one might say.
Hubris,
overweening pride.
No one expects the Slim Whitman. Now, usually when I say that, I mean something devious and sexual, but in this time, I mean the actual music of Slim Whitman.
You call it the Slim Whitman in bedroom scenarios.
Anyway, so what's frustrating about this is he's incredibly bad, and he needs to not be for it to land the little bit of emotional payoff that we do have.
And the jokes that he does get.
Yeah, he gets a couple jokes. He gets some he's on the phone. He's the character I don't mind. Like, I think it's decent to have a heart, and it's like, he's like a washed up boxer that is now just kind of a roaming celebrity at a casino. And then he apparently had a history of taking up like beating up people for money. And now he's not doing that anymore. He's divorced, but he's still in love with his ex-wife, and he found Allah,
gave up pork, and stopped beating up guys for money.
Yeah. And he's kind of getting his shit together. And it's a compelling enough story. He can't really deliver it, unfortunately. And then every time he has a line, you're like, Jesus Christ.
What did he say? He just sort of muttered it into his chest.
I have a feeling that, I think Tim Brown, it's not like Tim Brown. Tim Burton is a pretty good director, from my experience. I imagine these are the best takes we got.
Yeah, right. I know. It's just he is such an odd man out. And I'm not opposed to sports figures being in movies like this. I just need them to give me something
Well, we even get, we get Tom Jones in this movie as well. And I think that's the clearest analog of someone who is not an actor, but
Right.
who has been in things. And I think Tom Jones, he gets a much smaller part and he's playing himself. So
Right.
that's two big caveats. But he does fine because they don't give him a bunch of lines. They give him a couple
Right.
lines. They give him a couple like funny beats. And then, he sings at the beginning. And then at the end, he lets birds land on him. And it's funny. It's great. It's funny. He doesn't need to do that. And I think there was too much weight on Jim Brown's character for him. He couldn't pull it off. And it's unfortunate because he seems fine. I have no problem with him like as like being in here as a cameo, but that main character, it's a bad match.
Got it. DJ's take, he should be killed on sight. Got it.
I'm just saying, the civil rights movement, did you really help? I'm just kidding. I don't want to besmirch the memory of Jim Brown.
Wait, is he dead?
Yeah, hallowed be thy name.
Oh.
God rest you, merry gentlemen. In that case, I'm saying gentleman because I'm talking just about Jim Brown.
I do want to say one thing about at one point early in the film, Jim Brown calls his.
Hold on, if I may continue shitting on Jim Brown's legacy just for a minute longer.
This isn't shitting on him particularly. This is shitting on the script. But he calls his ex-wife Pam Grier, and she's distraught because her sons are missing, and she just got a call from the school.
Yeah.
They have not shown up for 2 days. She hasn't seen them in 2 days. She's talking to Jim Brown, and he says they're just at that age. What age are you missing as a minor from your mom and dad?
Boy, you weren't much of a truant, were you, Damon?
No, I was very ooant, if I may. I was very around, on time.
Punctilious young Damon Xanthopoulos.
I even lingered around when I had senior dismissal my senior year. Just sort of, I don't want to rush out the door. I'll just sort of mosey away.
Damon, we only do homeroom on Mondays. I just wanted to bring you this apple, my dear, lovely homeroom teacher.
Oh, Mrs. Hoffman, you deserve it.
Let's talk about Pam Grier for a second. She gets not much to do. But she's kind of, like you said, it's part of that story of this kind of the central, if there is a central B story, it's this one. But it's kind of, it's weird and it's not really her fault in this case. And in Jim Brown's fault, it's kind of, in Jim Brown's case, it's kind of his fault. In this,
the late case, Jim Brown to blame for his portion.
Yeah. I feel like, God rest his name. In Pam Grier's case, it's just really weird. It's awkward. There's a moment where the boys are missing, but she's back out. She's a bus driver. She's on her route. She sees the boys in an arcade. She pulls the
one of those
bus
open
over.
door arcades.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, those exist.
You want to get a breeze going.
She pulls over the bus like, I got to take care of something. Basically, grabs her kids by the napes of their neck and pulls them in the bus. And then there's this really awkward applause that happens from the bus goers.
Which is weird because we have not identified who these children are to this woman. We just see a bus driver stop a bus, run into an arcade in the middle of the afternoon, and pull 2 unnamed children out of there and throws them on her bus. And then everyone applauds. And people in the arcade are watching her as well. I'm like, these 2 kids could be in the midst of being kidnapped. We don't know the relation between these.
I'm sure they said,
people.
Ma. They said, Ma, don't. Ma, don't. But
Ma, don't.
Even
don't touch it on a meatball.
We're playing stickball. But she sends them into the back of the bus, and everyone just away. I think even the crowd on the bus clapping is not even the weirdest thing. It's the way they do it, and it was like, are we referencing something? It seemed like it was from like one of those, like a film strip from the 50s, and I'm like, I feel like this is referencing something I don't get.
Yeah, I don't. It feels
Maybe
like a storyline that would have been pulled from Independence Day rather than Mars Attacks. Like, it is the one story that is semi-serious, and it's just odd. That scene is odd. It feels a little bit like, kids these days, they just need a mom to beat the shit out of them and throw them on a bus. But it also establishes that they're good at video games.
Yeah.
Which is going to be important plot-wise for some reason later.
Well, because that's how they know how to pick up the Martian ray guns and shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, how would they know that if you shoot guns, they shoot things?
There's no media to tell people this. That's why so many people die from their own guns, oftentimes. Is because people don't know how it operates. Does the bullet come out of the bottom here?
Yeah.
Do I look down the hole of the gun?
Which side goes bang, bang? Which side goes pull, pull?
Click, click. Exactly. Pull. The
Pull,
onomatopoeia of pulling.
All right. Who else do you want to talk about? We're going through.
We're going through my notes, which is perfect. I love this system. Do you want to talk about Pierce Brosnan?
Yeah.
The Pierce Brosnan, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michael J. Fox of it all.
Yeah.
You can just lump them all together. They didn't play one character, though.
Yeah. True.
Just to be clear.
Thank you for clarifying that. Pierce Brosnan plays the scientist that's brought in, which he, for some reason, is thought of as an expert in Martians. And then SJP, Sarah Jessica Parker, plays a fashion broadcaster. She's like got some sort of fashion show and she keeps landing these interviews. And Michael J. Fox is her boyfriend. And
yes, who's a serious reporter.
Yeah. And he's full of himself. He's on kind of like a what is the Charlie Rose kind of vibe is what I was getting from his show.
Ooh, I hope not.
Well, yeah.
A lot of loose fitting robes on Michael J. Fox. Is that what you're insinuating?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, he's the serious reporter and maybe a little ambitious. It looks like he's still doing field work, so he's probably at the beginning of his career. Why am I talking like this? And
where are you getting evidence for this? It's not the movie.
But he's very jealous that his girlfriend is getting these big scoops despite being on a fluffy fashion show.
Yeah.
She even Pierce Brosnan is also at his absent-minded professoriest. He's very channeling Fred McMurray. He's got the pipe constantly in his mouth. And he goes on her show. I believe her name is Natalie, or is it Nathalie? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's Nathalie Lake.
And to give her the scoop on the aliens rather than an actual...
Is it actually pronounced Nathalie? Now
I can't remember. I just saw it was spelled Nathalie. But...
I heard Natalie. And then
okay, then it's Natalie.
Yeah.
Maybe they did that so that Natalie Portman wouldn't, when they said Natalie, but with an TH, Natalie Portman wouldn't respond.
There's an ongoing bit with Michael J. Fox character who plays a character named Jason Stone, not to be confused with my friend Jason Stone.
Oh, so that's a good clarification to make.
Good note for everyone. But there's an ongoing bit where he keeps going, why didn't we get that guy? So I did like that.
We lose Michael J. Fox in the battle of Pahrump, Nevada.
Yes.
He's only left with a hand, which is taken by the Martians as well, and they conduct experiments on it. Sarah Jessica Parker is kidnapped by the Martians. They remove her head and they remove her dog's head and switch them.
Yeah.
They put her Chihuahua's head on her head and no. I can do this. Just let me get there. Let me get there. They put her dog's head on her body and her head on the dog's body. Comedy ensues, visual gag, body horror. We all love it.
Ray J and Kim Kardashian. Let me get there. No? Okay.
That was the third tape they released.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just weren't feeling it anymore.
I think we talked about this in the intro. That's the thing I remember most, being like, no, I don't like this about this movie. Just her head on the dog's body. We also get Pierce Brosnan is eventually also captured. They just remove his head and all of his body parts are just sort of spread out and suspended in air.
Yes.
And then he's just a head and he's also like dripping the whole time.
Yeah.
That's just gross.
Gross.
And then they sort of, they had some chemistry during the interview.
And he's got a crush on her. That's why he went on her show, because he's got a bit of a schoolboy crush on her.
And so when they have some moments on the ship when he's just a head and she's just a head on a dog's body, and then eventually her head falls off the dog as
the third act, the spaceship is going down, and so her head, which apparently was not put on properly, becomes loosened from the Chihuahua's body. And then they roll around, their heads roll around on the floor, and eventually they kiss as the ship goes down, touching.
It's nice. That's really the heart of the story.
That's the heart of the story.
I will say, okay, so I don't like that, the visual of it.
Yeah.
And it is intentionally kind of weird, and you know, it's I don't like that. However, I have to put, and this is surprising for me, I have to put SJP up there as my nominee for the
yeah?
Catherine O'Hara Memorial MVP Award, because she made me laugh the most when she still had her body intact, mostly. Not that's not relevant, but she when she has like her little cards when she's interviewing and she's trying to be very serious, and I really like it. She's like, isn't it weird that we sent a space probe to Mars and didn't find anybody? Like, clearly she didn't understand, like she didn't write that question is the way it seems like she's acting it, and I just really like that.
She is great. I would second that. I think SJP is having fun. I think she is very much having fun in this movie. I think that's true of everyone kind of in this movie, is having a good time. Except for Jim Brown.
Her and Natalie, whatever, and Jason's relationship is, and Michael J. Fox's character, they're not like, he's not like abusive. He's a little ambitious. He's kind of like dismissive of her. But she's also like, you're the serious journalist. That's not what I do. And then she like gets the call on his phone. They hand it to her. And she's like, yeah, that sounds good. And like, it's not that she doesn't care. She's just like, I'm just going to do this thing. And she's very confident in herself. I really like that. He's like a little bit of a jerk, but he's not this, and as cartoonish of a movie as this is, he's not really cartoonish as a bad boyfriend.
Right. He's just ambitious and jealous that she is getting these scoops, which he feels are deserved of him.
Yeah. But he goes to try to rescue her when she gets, you know, like when the Mars are attacking, like that's how he dies. He's like trying to weirdly crawl to her.
I'm like, not really rescue, because they both fallen on the
just
sort
of like,
they're just like crawling towards each other.
Reach out hands. I'm like, I'm not sure what's going to happen, even if that move succeeds, but they just get to be together, I guess. But then it doesn't happen. Michael J. Fox doesn't get a lot to do. Like, that character just has a couple of beats, but it's effective.
Yeah, he dies fairly early in the proceedings.
The attack on Pahrump.
Didn't get a Pahrump out of that guy. Pahrump, by the way, is apparently a place where a very conspiratorial-minded radio host hosted a show. Like, he had a station there, and it's a real place, and that's why they chose that place.
Okay. Actually, I said that like I didn't read the exact factoid. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, thanks. So that's a really great point.
Let's see. Annette Bening. You want to talk about Annette Bening? She plays. So there's Artland, who is Jack Nicholson's other character, and he's like what is his deal? He's trying to open a casino. He's like
trying to open a space-themed casino.
Yeah.
And he kind of once the Martians start coming to Earth or make initial contact, he wants them to come to his casino because he thinks it'll be a great cash-in. He also seems to be, you know, maybe not the most, and this is surprising for a casino magnate, maybe not the most scrupulous person, because he does try and hire Jim Brown to rough up some people who owe him money. He also, Annette Bening's character is a former alcoholic. She goes to AA meetings, but she's very resentful that he seems to be a drunk. He is always drinking, and she is annoyed that he keeps drinking around her. And he's just like, you're a grown up, figure it out, basically. Annette Bening, she might be my Sarah Jessica Parker. No, wait, my Catherine O'Hara. In that, I think her character is one of the few that actually has an arc, that she ends in a different place than she begins in the movie. Yeah. She's sort of this new wavy, woo-woo type woman, maybe found after her bout with alcoholism. She sort of moved to new wave stuff. And she's very excited about the Martians coming. She thinks it's going to sort of be like usher in this whole, you know, happiness on Earth type deal. I don't know how to phrase that. And once the Martians start destroying shit, she immediately, wisely, is like, fuck this, we got to get out of here.
Yeah. She has the only normal reaction, like, in the whole thing.
Right. She's like, oh, they're evil, I have to go, we have to leave. And immediately starts planning to leave Las Vegas. Her husband or boyfriend or whatever, Artland, won't come with her. So she starts making plans. at the end. And she is also one of our survivors. Put a pin in her.
Oof. We got a pin to take care of, and we are running perilously low on time. This is what I told you would happen when we went through the whole cast.
Well, we're doing great at getting through my notes at least, so I feel confident.
I want to talk a little bit about, we kind of skipped over, he was in the group of people at the White House, Martin Short. We talked about he's the press secretary, but he's one of the main characters, I think, of the movie, despite there's being a million main characters. He has some funny moments. He's mostly playing a creepazoid.
Yeah, he's lascivious.
Yeah.
He's a womanizer.
But he does participate in I would say my Sally Field Memorial my Sally Field Memorial Single Scene Award. I want to give it to Lisa Marie because she plays the Martian girl.
Yeah.
Is that what they call her? So
that's her, I think her
official title.
Yeah, that's the official title.
Very like
credits.
Austin Powers fembot vibes. So it's a Martian dressed up as a human, and as soon as you see her walking in, there's like something ain't right. Like it's very creepy. That's like a dress that apparently they had to sew Lisa Marie into because it didn't have any seams, and she walks like with her hands swaying. It's very creepy. She's chewing gum apparently to help her breathe. It's like got nitrogen,
right.
And then
she has a beehive, like a huge beehive that's sort of like 3 times the size of her natural head. It's gigantic, and she never says anything, and she rarely blinks, and she moves like the first draft of a woman. Like she doesn't move normally.
And we had kind of established already that Martin Short was a womanizer, had picked up sex workers earlier in the movie, and then he comes across this girl.
Just wandering by the Washington Memorial.
It seems like this was the plan. Like they knew this was going to happen, because otherwise I'm not sure what the plan was. But so he picks her up and then brings her inside to the Kennedy room. Which is a secret room built by Kennedy to have sex with women. It's like probably exists. And we get my favorite moment of that whole thing. That whole scene is my nominee, I think, or Lisa Marie at least. But as soon as they walk in, they let him in like the back door of the White House, because the Secret Service is just like, oh, hey, come on.
They say we've been on edge since Congress, because Congress has just been killed. And then they just let this strange woman into the White House.
Even though there's no other security, it's like one guy. Anyway, it's fine. But as they're walking in, Martin Short like walks ahead of this woman, and we see her in the background. And instead of walking the way she's been walking with her swaying hands, she like creeps very quickly and with like hunched shoulders. And it's the creepiest thing in the entire movie.
I rewound it to see it again because I was like, what did she just do?
Good. And it's so out of nowhere that you're just like, oh God. I love it so much. It's very good.
Yeah, she's great. And she eventually bites off his finger.
Yeah.
Deserved. And that is how they infiltrate the White House. And they almost have the president at gunpoint. They do kill the presidential dog, Rusty.
And the first lady.
No, that's later, when the actual invasion at the White House happens.
Oh, okay.
This is when they catch him in bed. Literal in bed.
That's right. You're right.
And Glenn Close has like all these sort of, I recognize them from Death Becomes Her. She has like these gloves that are supposed to keep her hands like young. She has these like weird tape things that I think just sort of keep your skin around your eyes taut. Absolutely great. But yeah, I would second the Lisa Marie scene. Oh, when she pulls the mask off, it's so weird. I think part of it is it's just weird because it's 1996 computer animation stretching and contorting.
There's
faces.
a lot about that works though, because it's otherworldly, because it's not,
it's like the Ghostbusters rule where it's like, well, I don't know what a ghost looks like. Sure, I'll accept this.
Yeah. And it's kind of playing the uncanny valley to your advantage in this case. Okay, let's move on. So we got Jack Black plays oh
yeah, this is almost, I forget this, but this is actually crucial to the plot. Jack Black, Jodan Baker, O-Ray, I don't remember her name now. She was also in Edward Scissorhands.
Olan Jones,
Osmosis Jones, I call her, and Christina Applegate are out in Nevada, I think.
Not to mention who's the grandma?
Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
No, wait. Sydney Sweeney is the new young
Sylvia
thing.
Sidney.
Sylvia Sidney.
I went right along with it. I was like, yeah, Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, we're the worst.
She's basically the opposite of Sydney Sweeney, age-wise. Yes, Sylvia Sidney.
And I remember her best from, she was in Beetlejuice as well. She plays Juno, the caseworker who has this slit throat. So, I mean, the most pertinent part is Lucas Haas is sort of this dumb, but like sweet donut shop worker who sees the Martians do their circle salute. And he goes, the international sign of the donut. I would call him a stoner, except that he doesn't, he just seems sweet and kind of out of it. He's not like a stoner, but he's like got Shaggy vibes from Scooby-Doo. But eventually he's the only one of his family that takes care of the grandma. He's the only one who's not like a violent asshole. Jodan Baker and Olan Jones are both kind of like idiots.
Yeah, jackass.
Hicks and idiots. They're very obsessed with their son, who's Jack Black, who blindfolds himself to test himself on how quickly he can. Whatever that thing they do with rifles is, what are they doing? People assembling a rifle. I do appreciate that Jack Black is like all up about the military, and then the minute the Martians start firing, he surrenders immediately.
He runs to go get a flag.
He's like, I just want you to know I'm a representative of this country, and we surrender. But yes, what is her name?
Sylvia Sidney.
Sylvia Sidney. She is the Slim Whitman super fan, and she's the one who accidentally finds out the way to kill all the Martians. Because this is during the Gremlins portion of the movie where they're driving a big giant like ray. They're rolling it in through the nursing home to kill people. They drive it right up behind her head while she's listening to Slim Whitman. They sneak up
because she's not paying attention.
And she's got her headphones on. And then Lucas Haas like finally is coming to rescue her. And she notices him and she turns her head and that unplugs her headphones. And then Slim Whitman is blaring everywhere and the Martians' heads all bubble and explode. And it's gross but fun.
Pretty good.
And that's how you beat him. I do also want to say the scene where it's kind of very War of the Worlds, but the scene where the Martians have this sort of like giant robot, like bipedal robot machine that's like 100 feet tall. There's a scene where it's chasing Lucas Haas's character down the street. But it also is like very, very mid-century,
it's very
like
Wile E. Coyote.
What a kid would draw. Yeah, it is kind of Wile E. Coyote. What a kid would draw. Like, here's the Martians robot that they would run around in. It looks great. I appreciated that scene.
Yeah, that also you mentioned before when the Americans try to bomb them with nuclear missiles, they suck it up with like a balloon, like another very Acme code kind of thing, and then they bring the balloon in and they just like suck it like it's helium, and it's pretty funny. Yeah, you mentioned Christina Applegate. She gets like 5 seconds in this movie. She's Jack Black's like girlfriend. They're just sort of making out before he goes, and then later we see her sleeping with someone else just
after he's died.
To show that she's a piece of shit. I guess I don't know.
It just seems like she was there to be there, but we appreciate her service in this movie.
Before we talk about the survivors, specifically, I just wanted to know if you wanted to say anything about Frank Welker, who does the voices.
Oh yeah, Frank Welker, famous for playing every animal in cartoons, Santa's Little Helper, Snowball 2, to name a few. He voices all the aliens.
I really like the Martian voice and the fact that they yell sometimes. Like they're always kind of yelling, but then they're like louder ones. I found it pretty charming, actually.
The more I think, I love how completely unfriendly the Martians look, and we are just like, they must be really nice. But like everything about them is like, no, do not. They're not to mention they cannot show emotion. They're just sort of bug-eyed and grimacing all the time, and then their language is so jarring and just nails on a chalkboard in a good way. And everything about them says, do not touch. This is how nature says, do not touch. And we're like, it was probably a misunderstanding on our part.
Well, and they do get it's a rough translation, it seems like, but they get like a translation of the emperor or the whoever giving a speech and it's like, we will cull the field or whatever. And it's like, if you just take the basics of what they're saying, they're like, we're going to wipe you out. It's pretty clear what they're saying. And they're like, check on that machine. I don't think that's right. They're just fucking idiots. I love it. Okay.
So I want to talk about the survivors.
Let's talk.
Because I feel like, I mean, using the slasher rule, I feel like you can sort of gauge where a movie stands based on who makes it out alive at the end.
Okay.
And what I noted about this movie, at first it just felt like we're just killing people to kill people, and it's fun. It's fun to kill people. But at the end, like, I feel like all the survivors are the people who didn't care. There's like a very Gen X attitude, I think, in this movie. We end up with Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
We get stoner Lucas Haas, who just sort of coasted through things.
Yeah.
We get Tom Jones, who
Sylvia
was
Sidney,
performing during
Yeah,
a
that's true.
intergalactic
That's true.
invasion.
True.
Sylvia Sidney didn't know what was going on, or maybe did. I still don't have a beat on her character. I kind of like the mystery, though.
Well, she did say they blew up Congress, and laughs.
I did laugh when Jonathon Baker says she's halfway to outer space already.
That's our Mitchell.
Mittens. Jonathon Baker is Mittens. But there's sort of an almost like a Gen X vibe to this movie where everyone who survived just sort of happened to survive. And I mean, I feel like Annette Bening was like, fuck this, we got to get out of here. These people aren't good. All the people who sort of cared and tried all died. At first, I thought it was like, is this an anti-diplomacy movie? Because it's almost making fun of them for using diplomacy over Rod Steiger's 4-star general, who's like, let's nuke the bastards from like the get-go. But then even his plan to nuke them famously does not work. So it just sort of feels like the movie is kind of taking a Lydia Dietz stance of like, hey, you know.
I don't think there's that clear of a stance though either, because Pam Grier and her sons survive.
Right.
Jim Brown is definitely one who like fought back, and
Jim Brown is the thorn in my theory because I keep forgetting that he exists in this movie.
You keep trying. We're gonna bring it back.
I think if he had been a stronger, actor, his story would stick in my head a little bit better, and I'm like, oh yeah, he really got back with his kids. But otherwise, it just feels like at the end, it's the sort of goth teen becomes president somehow. And Lucas
somebody's got to be president, right?
Falls
We got to
ass
be ruled.
backwards into a Congressional Medal of Honor. Not to nitpick, I don't think you can win a Congressional Medal of Honor if there is no Congress to award it to you.
It's kind of in the name who awards the Congressional Medal of Honor.
It's the peanut butter and jelly sandwich of Medals of Honor.
I meant to mention at the very end when we get, it's of course Tom Jones performing. It's not unusual, and then the Martians attack and they run away. But then they start playing it at the end over the credits.
Mm-hmm.
But then they don't play the whole song, and
it was hurtful. It was like, don't lead me down that road and don't let me hear it.
I yelled, "Cowards!" at the TV.
Also very Gremlin-like at one point, you know, he's performing in the casino and the lights go down on his background singers and the lights come up and the Martians are performing. And I'm like, that is very Gremlins.
I liked it. Are you ready for the verdict?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Let's do it.
Kick it. DJ, what did you think of Mars Attacks?
This one is kind of tough because I'm actually I'm enjoying it more discussing it than I did watching it, because in theory, this is the kind of movie I should like. It's silly. It's got a lot of good actors, and it's like embracing the kind of movie that it is. The design is really cool. I like Tim Burton style, but it's something about the tone didn't quite land right. Your Inner Child's an idiot. I don't think you need to revisit this. I think I was right. I enjoyed it more on this rewatch than I did when I originally saw it. And there are things to enjoy about it. I think if you like look up the scene, the Lisa Marie scene, or maybe even look up some clips on YouTube, you'll get the idea. Because slogging through this kind of whole movie, I think is going to be disappointing for you. But yeah, Your Inner Child's an idiot, but barely. And I also, if this is a special movie to you, I think it'd be fine to rewatch. What about you?
You reserve the right to change your mind later.
Basically, all I have said is meaningless. Damon?
I am sort of in the same place, where I could go either way. I think I will, in the interest of magnanimity, whatever that word is.
We
In the
only
interest of
podcast
monogamy,
together.
please, yeah. That's why I don't have any other podcasts. We had an agreement. In the interest of monogamy, I will tilt the other direction and say Your Child is not an idiot. I was reading a handful of reviews from the time about this movie, and I think Roger Ebert kind of nails it where he's like, this movie should be better or worse.
Yeah.
Where he just was talking about, this was Tim Burton's, after his biopic of Ed Wood, this was his attempt to make an Ed Wood style movie. And I think there's a lot to like here. I think there is, I don't know if I would call it a slog. You used the word slog in your verdict. I don't know if I would go that far, but there are parts where I'm like, I want this to be either.
It's not a slog, Jim Brown.
Fair enough. Luckily, because it's such a stacked cast, it's like the Love Actually of alien invasion movies. There's so many people that you only really have to spend, 8 minutes with Jim Brown?
That's true.
Jack Nicholson gets 16 minutes because he plays 2 characters. Smart. But yeah, I don't think it's a slog per se, but I think it feels like there's something could be tightened up. It could be maybe a little bit more violent, maybe a little bit more jokey, maybe a little bit something to really thread the needle. I feel like it's like 65% of the way there. Like I enjoyed watching parts of this, but it does feel a little more ramshackle than it feels like it should. But it is a charming movie. And especially Tim Burton described it just by coincidence and came out the same year as Independence Day. He called it the Mad Magazine version of Independence Day. But there is a lot to enjoy here. And I would say, if you're curious, check it out. Why'd you listen to an hour-long show about a movie you haven't seen that you're curious about? Just watch the movie.
Maybe they have a parasocial relationship with us. You don't know.
Oh, thank you. I had spaghetti for dinner, if you're asking.
I had tacos. So
there you go.
What do you think, everybody? Email us, yourinnerchildisanidiot@gmail.com, and we'll read it. You can text us. We'll leave us a voicemail, 615.
And we'll read those too. Well, not the voicemail.
Stop interrupting the number. They want this number. 615-576-0525. We'll get all your messages. Oh, boy. We want to thank our editors on Replay for editing this, and we want to apologize. If you want to have your podcast edited, go to onreplay.au, and we want to just issue an apology because they're Australian for Damon's Australian accent.
Oh no. Oh no, DJ, this is the worst betrayal in a long history of betrayals.
Thank you also to our dear friend Jackson for our song.
Thank you, Jackson. Kick it, I always say.
We want to thank our patrons for supporting the show, including a Little Miss Chicken Nugget.
Just cause. I'm not going to do that.
Lindsay, Halik.
The Hands of Fate.
Particle Man.
Tommy Boy is my favorite movie.
Kick it, you say, whenever Tommy Boy comes
Whenever someone's putting in the DVD player, I just go, kick it.
Josh Frigo.
Beth Surmont.
Dr. Malcolm's heaving alien.
Is the alien sick? Why is it heaving?
I don't know.
The Zesty.
Karen Kurd.
Jeremy Powlen.
The elusive Fan Gromkin.
Jackson has an unhealthy obsession with Damon.
T. Smith.
Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Travis Vance.
Larissa Maestro.
Lindsay Nell.
The supreme ruler of this podcast.
Jody Passanisi.
David Mort.
Caroline Amberson.
Zachary Hartley.
Arnar, Damon's Australian accent.
Now who has to apologize? I think you've done it ever since we've had them as our new editors. You've done these telling. Why am I being thrown under the bus at all?
I randomize them and then we read every other. Look, I don't know what to tell you about it.
Them's the breaks. Bill Haynes.
Dramatically placed hot dog.
Hizoner the mayor.
Heather Tuggle.
Shit on the Cartouche.
Jonathon Day. Thank you all
you, everyone.
thank you very, very much. If you want to be a supporter like them, patreon.com/your inner child's an idiot. We didn't mention Danny Elfman did the music for this.
Problematic corner indeed.
Yeah. God damn it.
This was also Tim Burton's reunion with Danny Elfman after they broke up.
Oh, they had creative differences.
They had creative differences. I tried to get the skinny on it, but it seemed all convoluted and weird. But they were back together. Yeah, I'm afraid so. Usually it's just straightforward and weird.
Yeah. Well, anyway, bye.